Welcome to the Common Thread. I'm your host, Mike. I'm so glad that you're here. In this episode, Roman shares some truths that most people keep hidden about loss, love, resilience, and the quiet power of being there for each other. From the heartbreaking story about family to the hope found in poetry, music, and community. This conversation is quite real and quite unforgettable. If you have been knocked down at any point in life and just do not want to get up, this is a story you want to hear, to listen to every word. And if you believe in conversations like this, please support this channel by liking, subscribing, and leaving a comment, and share this with other people. As always, share this with someone who you believe needs to hear this. So let's get into it. Tell me about yourself. Who are you to me?
Who am I to you? I'd say that I'm also a friend, someone who I'm able to call out whenever I need help mentally or if I just need support for anything. You're a really busy guy, but you always make time for people who you really care about. And that's what I really admire. You really make yourself available to people who you deeply care about, making sure that they're okay. I remember there's one time where I was going through a rough time and you kept on checking up on me. I really admired that because you made sure I was okay. And
Mhm.
like you really felt like a best friend at that point.
Why is that important to you?
It's important to me because I feel like a lot more people need that in their life, especially people who are older, who have experience, who have gone through stuff. They might be able to resonate with a younger audience, making sure like, hey, I've been through something like that. I understand how you feel. Some of the younger generations need to understand like, hey, you're not the only one who went through that.
What are some things that you think I have learned from our relationship, but also things that you have learned from our relationship as well?
I've learned that you're a really understanding person and you don't let your past keep you from being you. You don't let your past mistakes, you always move on. And I really like that about you because I always learned that from you too. You taught me how to let things go and keep moving forward no matter what. And that it's okay to sit down for a little bit, feel whatever you need to feel, but also get back up. And from what you learned from me, I think that you learned that I'm able to be vulnerable with anything, be able to express how I really feel to people I really like trust. And that made me learn that I'm able to open up to certain people, such as yourself, other people who I like can connect them like this, like like that.
Mhm. What is something that you want people to truly know about you?
I want people to understand that I also have my own past struggles. When people first meet me, they always perceive me as a light, bubbly person. But how did I get to that point? I haven't been always that way. I, I've had family business. I had business with friends. It took a long way to where I am now. And like, I just want people to understand, okay, I wasn't like this from the get go. I wasn't always light and bubbly with everybody. I could be mature when I really want to. And that it took a long time. It took a lot, a whole chunk of my life being able to keep moving on, build on to or adapt to different problems and really focus on how I grew up.
Mhm. When you talked about people moving on, experiences, right? So speak about that. What do you mean by?
People leaving my life, like losing friendships. This could be like friendships who are really tight, and then the next thing you know, they're not there anymore. Just like push me to the sides for their own personal gain. I haven't had any family like that, but it was mainly friends, being abusing of what I have because I'm a very giving person. They would take advantage of that and they wouldn't really pay it forward.
Has that made you more cynical towards relationships with other people?
Yeah, it for sure made me cynical and like I would choose carefully who I really trust. And if that person were to leave and I only knew them for like 2, 3 months, then I would be okay. Because like I've only known you for like 3 months and you
Hmm.
just left. So I'm like, I know who my real friends are. So I've grown to where I'm okay with losing some people.
How did you get to that point?
I learned that everyone comes and goes. Everyone has their own motives. People stay for a long time, some just stay for a little time. Mainly those who stay for a little time just want what I have for their own personal gain, get what they want and leave, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Same like that could go for like with school, for example. I'll do my homework, but my friends would ask me, "Hey, did you finish this? Can you send it to me when you're done?" And then next thing you know, the semester's over. Where are they now? They don't hit me back. They don't say like, "Oh, let's go hang out." You know?
So that kind of reminds me of the class that we had, Aristotle, the virtue of friendship. We talked about the friendship of utility, friendship of pleasure, and the friendship of virtue, right?
Yeah.
So because of what you've learned in class, this is like a gajillion years ago, let's just say, how did that impact you? How did that knowledge now impact you today?
I guess I've grown a little more spiritual in that way, being able to find my own perspective on relationships and be able to really be careful of who I really trust. And like, there's different advice that I've taken saying like, keep your circle small
Mm-hmm.
and be able to whoever in that circle, keep with you and make sure you trust them, hold them together, hold them tight. And whoever is outside that circle, you could talk to them, but you won't trust them as much as your inner circle.
You have a friend group that I know, and you have a nickname for this group. Every time I see a posting of the group, I always remember the one image, which I'm going to put right here, of all of us together at, I think it was Ambika's
Yes.
birthday?
Grad party.
Graduation party. Ambika's graduation party. I'm going to act like I knew what I was saying. And so yeah, we were there for Ambika's graduation party and that photo, and that really like, I was like, wait a minute, there is something about this group. And I don't think I really noticed it when you were a junior in high school, but it really solidified as a senior. Yes. As a senior in high school. I think that's really what it really solidified.
Yeah.
And then beyond that, tell me about this friend group and the ins and outs. What did you learn from this friend group? What are some challenges of being in a friend group like this?
We call ourselves Barbecue Bacon Burger. You know who you are, and I love you guys so much. I told them I would mention them. It consists of many diverse people, and I love it. I love diversity. That's why I love Salesian so much,
Yes.
because it was so diverse. People had different stories.
All
People
the walks of life.
exactly, and I really like that. It held a special place in my heart.
That's why I went there.
Yeah.
I become very passionate about the community and noticing how diverse that community was. I was like, there's something home about this place. And even though I left in a place where I didn't really want to leave, and yet I knew I needed to, but still, that I never had that sense again.
Home isn't just a place. It's a
Mhm.
feeling. That friend group makes me feel at home. Being able to see them almost every day. People are having their own lives. We all understand each other in different ways. Everyone's able to get along with each other, and I love them so much. They're family to me. They've seen my lowest points. I think all of them have seen me cry at least once. You know, it makes me feel really comfortable. I'm able to show a more mature side of me, be able to help them whatever they need. Because like there's this one time where, and I was helping him out with some of his problems, but then I give him some really good advice, and he texted me, "If your last name is Dorama, you're the goat" or something. And like he was like saying, I really like the enlightened Roman. I was very, I guess, spiritual, being able to like, help my friend group in whatever they needed. And then in return, they did the same for me. If I'm able to give them support, they could always give me back support. I guess some lows. It's funny though, because it's not really a low. We're just super busy sometimes. Some of us won't reply. And I tell them so many times, like, hello, am I muted? It's funny though, because I mean it in the most joking way possible. Because I already know we all have different lives. Some of us has work. Some of us have other responsibilities. That's a challenge, being able to make sure we all have free time to all hang out. This past few weeks of summer, we all haven't been together. It's only like small groups of us because we all have our own stuff going on. So the whole group chat hasn't been together fully, probably since high school.
Was there a time or a moment where you felt completely lost, and what did you kind of learn from those moments?
Yeah, felt lost many times. The first one where I really felt lost was when my grandma passed away. This was beginning of Salesian, like freshman year. I had a lot of hope because I heard she was doing well one day, and then I would celebrate. I was like, yes, she's coming home and she's doing really good. And then life took its course. God said it was time. And so I kept myself really busy with school because that's all grandma and grandpa wanted. They wanted me to do really good in school. So I focused real hard on that. But then it would hit when the day came, it hit hard. And seeing her like that, it really broke me. Dealing with school, a loss, and sports took a really big toll on me, especially with football. I liked playing football, but it was the mental thing. The mentally, it was draining. Being able to go to practice every day after school when I just wanted to be alone and let myself feel these feelings. And it took a long time because it football really kind of got in the way.
Did it get in the way or did it help in any way?
It helped when we had to run. I liked the running because I was able to focus on something else. But getting yelled at, doing the drills, it just built onto what I was already going through. Not saying I had a terrible experience. It was fun. I had fun with all my friends on the team. Mentally, it was just hard. And that kind of sparked writing down what I like to do, like poetry. I've been doing poetry for about 8 years, but freshman year I really picked it up because I took a lot of counseling. I went to therapy, and they're like, is there other ways that you're able to, you know, cope? Poetry really helps me. I'm able to write down how I feel about certain things. Most of these poems are pretty dark, and like I would always write when I was feeling like in a dark time,
Mm-hmm.
because like it helped a lot. Because after I wrote it out, I was like cleansed, kind of. I still write poems. I wrote a poem during my first year of college. That was the first time I felt really lost.
Writing a poem, is it difficult or do you have to take time to think about what you're going to say? How does that work for you? Especially when you're trying to process emotions and thoughts.
It's different for everybody else. For me, I'm able to just write it down like that. Yeah. I'm able to just think about it and put words together. Sometimes I have a word rhyming thing because like I have a rhyme into it,
Mm-hmm.
and like I'm able to keep thinking about writing, and it's a part of me that I can't push away. I like writing.
To embrace it really well.
Yeah.
Do you have one that you want to share at all? Or
Yeah. I'll share my most recent one.
all right, give me 1 second.
This poem's called "I Choose Me." Today is May 6th, 2025, and I'd say I'm thankful to be alive. Getting through my trials and tribulations, I never needed a congratulations. To the souls up above, you lit through me by spreading love. Grandma and Grandpa, I hope to make you proud. Mom, I know you love when I perform in front of a crowd. Clear JR, I'm going to start what you couldn't start. To my aunties and uncles, you will forever be in my heart. When I choose me, I choose all of you. To promise to stay true to my morals. And I love all of you guys who have been down with me.
All right, so that poem that you just read, tell me about it a little bit more. Break it down for us.
That was my most recent poem, my 57th poem. This was after my fourth raw moment when my grandpa died. I would get these nights where I just felt very family oriented. I would cry thinking of my family now and my family who has passed. And every time someone passed, somebody would say, "Hey, you looked like them." And I felt like they would live through me, being able to portray myself. I would portray my loved ones. And so whenever I choose myself, taking care of myself, I would take care of my loved ones. And that's when I really focused like, hey, I mean something to my family members, that really sparked something where my family members now, they think of me, or they see my loved ones who passed through me.
Mm. Do you share your poems with other people?
Yeah, I shared it a lot, and I would post on my story too, because like during high school, I was really open about it because it was the tablet, being able to submit my poems, have them published. And I really shared it there because that's when I realized other people are going through stuff too,
Mm-hmm.
and being able to connect to my poems helps them feel less alone. So that kind of inspired me to write even more, knowing, hey, my poems are connecting to other people, being able to help them feel less lonely.
It's interesting because the premise of this podcast is that we're sharing the stories that are not told or we're told to ignore at usually a level of rawness and vulnerability. In sharing our stories, we are providing a light through our own darkness that maybe other people have experienced, gone through, or find themselves in that story because they have been there or they're going through it now or they are in the onset of something that may be similar. And so by you sharing story, by you writing down your poems and posting them and having them published for other people to say, I'm not the only one.
Yeah.
What's the impact? What do you think about that kind of impact?
It it really does inspire me to write more because I know my story of life, and being able to write down segments of my story, people are able to read that story, connect to it, and really focus on, hey, he went through that. I went through that as well. And for my more hopeful poems, my more upbeat ones, they're more to give off hope,
Mm-hmm.
help others who maybe haven't gone through what I've gone really think about, like, hey, it's going to be okay. Like, I'm going to focus on the now and really enjoy what I'm doing instead of worrying about other stuff I can't really control.
Do you have these published anywhere specifically?
It would be on my story and on my Instagram. There's different highlights of hopeful motivation stuff, and it's called The Heart. There's The Heart Part 1. It's kind of a Kendrick Lamar reference. The Heart Part 1, Part 2, Part 3, Part 4. I'm on Part 4 right now. I would post my poems there.
What do you imagine the impact is?
I think the impact would be letting them know it's okay to be vulnerable. Some people don't want to be vulnerable, and that could be their ego protecting them,
Mm-hmm.
and not wanting to show off who they really are and be vulnerable to other people and vulnerable to yourself because that's who your true self is,
Mm-hmm.
and that it's okay because there was this one advice that I've heard, you know, take off everything, take off the designer clothes, take off your jewelry, take off all
Mm-hmm.
these big stuff. What do you really have? You just have yourself. And just having yourself, you're left with your thoughts, you're left with your past, you're left with you.
Yeah.
And that's when you're most vulnerable. There's times where I'm big stepping and performing and like wearing all these fancy clothes, but that's not me. I might have all this stuff, but that's not who I portray myself as. I'm still going to be me.
You shared two real raw stories about your grandparents. I'm aware that there are two more that you've had to experience.
Last year, summer, the first month of summer, it was my dog. He passed away too. It was pretty traumatic. And I came home one day.
Is this a dog that you first dog ever, or at least a first dog of memory?
I've had other dogs, but this was probably one of the closer dogs I've had. He was like a little puppy.
Yeah.
And so like he was like my little brother. And so when he passed, it was hard because he practically passed in my lap. I came home, it was kind of hot and he was breathing hecka hard. And he's a bulldog. I was thinking maybe it's just hot and he's having another breathing problem. I called my mom just in case, like, hey, was Louis okay? Like, he's like, oh yeah, I think it's just hot. Just give him some water, just like stay with him. It's like, okay. So I stay with him, give him water. My little brother comes, he's like, yo, is he okay? I was like, yeah, I think it's just hot. It got a little better for a bit, and then it kind of got worse. He trots to me, and he's laying on my lap. I was like, okay, he's gonna be okay. Maybe he's just gonna go to sleep. His breathing gets weaker. I'm panicking, like, Louis, are you okay? He passes right there. I call my parents, call my mom. My mom picks up my little brother and I. We all go to the vet. and he's in my arms. I was like, no way this is happening. My dog just died on me right now. And so when we get to the vet, they tried resuscitating him and they couldn't. It was already too late. I'm just standing there, all his fur is on me. So I'm processing everything, shaking. It was that whole rest of that whole week, everyone was just silent, you know. Whenever I came home, it was just silent because my dog would always, you could always hear the nail scratching.
The noise.
I still miss it to this day, you know, because like that was like my little brother greeting that annoying little brother. Like, oh, welcome back.
Mhm. How did that experience affect you?
We all knew he was getting old, just the way he was moving and the way he looked. I just didn't prepare myself because I never really thought of like, I forget that like dogs also pass away too. And so like it hit me. I was like, yo, who's gonna listen to my rants? Who's gonna randomly bulge into my room just cause he wants to lay down? Even though I felt so bad because I'm like the only room that doesn't have a carpet. And so he would still choose my room to lay in. Can't have that no more, you know. And so after that, I kept one of his toys in my room, just like self-keeping.
How did that affect you though?
It made me realize like that time is always running out for like everybody. And like it made me like really think like not even pets have all the time in the world, you know? And it low-key all these raw moments I've had, it's always just about running out of time, you know? I've always like told myself this, like time is never on my side, but it's never on anyone's side, you know? I'm like I'm either late, too early, don't have enough time to be with this person, can't have time to be out with this person, don't have time for myself. It's always about time. And so I learned how to really focus on the now and really enjoy the time I have left with certain people.
Talk about that a little more.
I thought I had all the time in the world. Life is good. I have a girlfriend, I have my friends, I have a job. I was able to maintain that time until I couldn't. When she moved back home, there was a time difference. It would be kind of hard to manage that because I would be awake when she was asleep. I tried my best to hold up my end of the relationship, be consistently we talking, understand that she has her own life, give her some space too. Being able to communicate until it all went downhill. That's when I realized like dang, you know, not even people who are alive won't stay, you know? And that's when I realized like I spent so much time on somebody who won't even give me their time, you know? I should have gave this time to my other friends, you know? I should have made time for people who reciprocate.
Do you think that even though you went through that experience, that that was still time well spent of a learning experience at least?
For sure, for sure. No, yeah, like it really helps me. It was a really hard time, but it really helped me shape into who I am now.
Yeah.
You know, I went through like it was really dark where I would have my own counseling. I had to talk to people. I really had to reach out for help through people and music. And for this album, Mr. Morale and the Big Steppers,
I'm glad he's finally explaining this because that's his Instagram handle. And I've always been like, who? What? Huh? So now I'm glad he's finally explaining this.
I could get really deep into this album just because of how I'm able to really understand it and understand what Kendrick writes to it. It's very therapeutic, and being able to decode his lyrics is very fun for me. It's like I'm able to cope with that. You know, some of these songs, they
Cope or connect with, because I feel like you connect with the lyrics.
exactly. The album is cut into two, Mr. Morale and the Big Steppers. The first disc would be the Big Steppers, you know, being able to make boisterous moves, live a lavish life, you know, be full of ego. And then the Mr. Morale part, stripping that ego down. What do you really have, you know, and be able to really focus that time with family, friends, yourself, and be able to build off of what was left. And so there's a verse on one of the songs saying, I got regrets, but my past won't keep me from my best. And so that kind of sticks with me. Yes, I have regrets. I have my own problems that happened in the past. I can't do anything about that right now. All I could do is learn from it, grow, move on. Won't let that affect me for who I am. It helped me become what I am today. And listening through that whole album, it really hit points from that relationship. And it talked about spiritually, love. There's a verse in one of the songs that says, shut the when love is talking, because at the end of the day, that's what we just got love. Love for people, love for things. Like that relationship stripped down everything for me because I put too much time into that relationship. I didn't really push too much time on myself, which I guess I learned from that and being able to
Find that healthy balance between you, relationship, and others as well.
exactly. On the other songs, they would talk about relationship problems, And so it really resonated with me because this is when Kendrick was having his problems with his significant other, and it really came from family trauma. Everyone has trauma.
Mm-hmm.
She had trauma. I had trauma. I tried my best not to let that trauma into the relationship because who am I to do that?
Right.
And I didn't, because I was still healing from my trauma. I pushed it away, not let it get in the way of our time. How trauma is passed down, somebody's hurt. And for them to heal, they hurt other people, and they hurt me.
It's that phrase I hear all the time: hurt people, hurt people.
Exactly. And it's because they're trying to heal themselves.
Hurt people come out of because we're not being aware of other people through our healing process.
Exactly. I like to think about different perspectives of life because that's also what life is about. Perspective. I might think of love differently than the way you think of love.
Yeah.
You know,
One thing I want to say about trauma, I think that, I agree. Everyone has some type of trauma. Even the most perfect person that says, I come from a perfect family, a perfect whatever experience, that's still a form of trauma, actually. And people don't realize that
Yeah.
because once they've been exposed to a certain way of life, and then they enter into the real world and it's not that way, which they thought it was going to be, everything they were raised to understand is a form of trauma in a sense. They never prepared them for the real world experience. You have your own trauma, your own experiences, and that has influenced your relationship. And what I understand is that you were trying to be as much as aware as possible, not to bring that in.
It was pretty hard. It was very self-disciplined based. I've also had past experience where I opened up to people, but it just got shot back in my face. And so that kind of triggered something where I didn't want to keep opening, keep expressing how I feel because it would get shut down, flipped, turned against me. And then like sometimes it still is hard with certain people, but I already know that some people just have that natural feeling where like, oh, you feel safe.
No, that's important. And that's something that's going to be a lifelong experience. I don't think it's going to be something you can figure out in the next 5 years or anything. Once you get to know the people that you surround yourself with, you then know how in depth you can go with them. And that's why we have an array, eclectic, a mosaic of friends. Not everyone's going to be in that same space or provide that kind of a space. And that's the beauty of the variety of relationships that we can hold in our lives.
Also, a couple bars in one of the songs, it goes, "Can I open up? Is it safe or not?" This is when Kendrick wants to be vulnerable. He wants to talk about his feelings and open up. Later in that song, he says, "Subtle mistakes felt like life or death. The small mistakes felt like do or die. It felt like if he messed up once, it's all over." And then there was another one saying how, "If I told you who I am, would you use it against me? Right or wrong, no stone, just love to send me." And that really stuck with me. That's probably one of my favorite songs in the album. It's called Die Hard. And so that really stuck with me because like that resonated with me. I was able to connect with that lyric, being able to open up, would you use my real self against me? And be able to be comfortable hearing what I've went through, be comfortable of what I say, and really truly not just hear me, but really listen to me. Because different people hear you, while they're really actively listening.
What does resilience look like for you today now?
Resilience, many different things. Discipline, self-discipline, waking up early, going to work, eating properly, making sure I have the right amount of sleep, making sure I stay in my lane, and to never break that, never give up on that, because I already know if I give up now, what was all this for? I got people up there rooting for me, so I can't stop. It's a goal I have like every year, be a better person who I was yesterday. And I want to be able to reflect about how I was yesterday, add to it, take away from it, but just reflect and be able to keep growing, because that's the life experience. We all experience life once.
It's interesting you say about reflecting your day and then trying to apply what went well for the next day. It's so very Jesuit, because we have this thing called the exam, and that the Jesuits do, which is Ignatian spirituality, where they take their day, review it like a movie, look for the highs and lows, and see what they did well that day, and how can they make that better. What they didn't do so well, how can also take that and go, okay, this is what I can do better tomorrow. This is how I'm going to carry forward. And this is what I'm taking forward with the learning, understanding, reflecting, to pray upon it and say, okay, I can do better in this area. I need to excel more in this area because it works well. So it's very kind of cool to hear that, actually, to be honest. You're the third person that said something like that. And this is the third time I explained that story. I like that. Has there been a belief or a misconception you have to let go in order to grow?
I thought about this question a lot because I don't think I let anything go. If anything, I gained and applied to what I already know. To piggyback what you were saying about the reflecting, I'd say I'm a pretty religious person. I pray. I'll go to church sometimes, but I'm not really consistent. I'm Catholic, but I also have my own morals. I want to be able to live in God's image, but I'm not God. I'm not Jesus. I might try my best, but I'm not perfect like that. I'll have my own human ideas, my own human morals. Then I'll apply all of that to Catholicism, being able to reflect, think about what I've done and how I could be better. No one's perfect. I want to be able to be perfect in my own way, feel human emotions. I'm sure Jesus did too. But there's this one time where I was pretty upset. And I don't like getting mad, but I found out how it's okay to be upset. Jesus flipped tables too. I forgot what verse it was, but he flipped tables. He felt anger. And to like gain and then to add on and build. Because I like to build on things. It's hard for me to let go because I like to learn new things and apply it.
What I'm hearing is that you learn from experiences and apply it. And so you don't want to let it go because you still think there's always lessons that could be learned from those previous experiences.
Exactly.
Well, that's true. We always say that let go, let God.
Yeah.
I don't like that because I'm also kind of that way where I want to continually reflect on these experiences because there's still stuff I need to learn from it.
Exactly.
There are things that I'm still learning. My middle school years, my high
Yeah.
school years,
Yeah.
my post-college years, and even just last year, I'm still reflecting on. And some people are like, just let it go, move on. Well, no, I want to let it go. I want to let go of the year. I want to let go of all the feelings of it and look at it objectively and just say, but there are some injustices I need to speak out. There are things which I need to recognize and know that, okay, that didn't work. This is a different way, a different approach. Now I know. If you're not malleable, if you're not flexible, if you're not adaptable, then you're going to lose out. That's why I enjoy looking back, and that's why I journal. I've been journaling since I was in 8th grade. And, you doing poetry, my poetry is writing my experiences down. So that's a way of processing. I go to therapy, but I don't have anybody I really rely on in conversations or any other type of personal interactions with. To me, that's my way of healing and through kind of music, walking, working out, doing these kind of things.
Yeah.
Episodes is my way of expression, but also hopefully it provides a platform for other people to say it's okay to talk about these kind of things. It's okay to know that there is space and that we all share common themes, common experiences. Somebody's dark spaces might be the light for somebody else that needs to see it or hear
Exactly.
it.
Yeah, I like to piggyback off that because, again, we all have our own trauma, and sometimes that trauma could intertwine. Like, oh, that little one point right there, I had the same experience. Just being able to connect through trauma and come together, heal ourselves. I didn't even have your class, but I'm able to talk to you like this, face to face, be vulnerable with you.
Was there a class, a conversation, a retreat that really impacted you?
Yes, Kairos. When you led Kairos, it was the last time you led Kairos too. And it's still with me till this day. It's kind of funny because I'm in a dance group and it's called Kairos.
Oh, cool.
But it's just a API dance group. It's
Still.
still with me,
Yeah.
know. And yeah, that kind of helped me learn to reflect because that's what we did a lot. We sat outside, wrote down things into our journal, and wrote down how things went, reflect, and really think about the retreat, what we got from it, and be able to come back home, still live that way.
Yeah.
And so that it's still stuck with me. It's still with me because
Yeah.
when I was looking at the clubs, it was like, oh, Kairos. I know what Kairos is. And then I go see and like, oh, it's a dance group. I'll check it out though. These people seem really cool. They talk about a lot of things. They reflect on how society is, what we could do as a community to strengthen numbers. And it's still with me even outside, being able to go outside to one of my reflection spots in your home, being able to really enjoy the now, you know.
It's interesting whenever most of the people that come on here have been on Kairos retreat. It's always interesting when everyone brings it back up, and it's always circle back somehow back to Kairos. And this is something that I am very passionate about because I really see the impact. The reward is seeing the impact on your lives, and not just your lives, but also the relationships that are in your lives. And that includes family and how important that is. It's great when I have parents come up to me and tell me how much that has impacted their relationship with their kid and their family dynamic and how it has changed and for the good. And there are even moments of healing for some of these family members. To me, it's like, I feel fulfilled. That's all I want.
You
That's
did
all
your
I
job.
need. I did what I was called to do, lead other people, build them up into where they are able to reflect on the relationship with themselves, relationship with others, and hopefully relationship with a God or a deity of some sort, or even a higher calling of living out virtuous lives.
Exactly.
And so to me, it's just like, it's such a impactful retreat. And I wish people of all schools would be able to do it and even actually do the full version,
Yeah.
4-day, 3-night version. What is the best advice you've received so far, at least currently?
I got 4.
Oh,
I got
4. Okay.
4. Yeah.
He
And
came ready.
I got 4. The first one would be for my dad,
Okay.
and this was like, it was pretty recent during college. He said, hey, son, no matter what you do or how long you do it, as long as you reach your end goal, no one can tell you anything. No matter how long I'm in school for, no matter what I do in school, as long as I graduate, and then after that, I'm on with life, being able to have a job and everything. No matter what I do and reach for whatever I'm reaching for, as long as I reach it, he's doing his job. No matter how I do it, no matter how long it will take me.
Just keep on.
Exactly. And my second one would be from my older sister, my other 10. And so this is what I was going through the breakup. I was feeling different emotions. I was sad, angry, egotistic, trying to make myself feel better. And I was really angry one day, mainly just at myself. I used the word hate, and I strongly disliked using the word hate because it's a really strong word. You know, she texted me saying, it's okay to be angry. It's okay to feel this way because you're only feeling human emotions. That's when I really found out love and hate coexist, but I'd rather be on love side. But it's okay to be angry sometimes. You just
Right.
gotta learn how to control it. And then the third one is from you. This was also when I was going through the breakup. This was Ambika's party.
Okay.
I was sitting at the table when you came behind me and you said, Roman, like, I know you're going through something difficult right now. I just want to let you know, allow yourself to grieve, allow yourself to feel these emotions, let it break you down. But then after a week or two, you got to get back up. You got to keep on going. no matter how many times, you just got to keep on going. And so I really took that personally. For 1 week, I would maybe cry almost every night, allow myself to feel, go on walks, and just allow myself to feel these feelings. And after that week, I would get back up. I feel pretty cleansed. I cried it all out. I'm all good. I'm hanging out with my friends. I'm happy in the moment. And then next thing you know, grief happens, thoughts, feelings come back, and it's all just a cycle. That's just how grief is. And so even during college, it would cycle too. I'd just be in my dorm room, and it all comes back. Let myself cry for a bit. I'll even write it out. And then next day, I feel a lot better.
Those moments get shorter and shorter over
Exactly.
time.
Like weeks turned into 3 days, 3 days turned into one day turned into 1 hour. That's healing. And now I really look back at it, I'm proud of myself for really listening.
What's the fourth one?
Fourth one, it would be from Kendrick Lamar. I had to throw it in there. He's my favorite rapper. When he dropped the Mr. Royal album, he was giving out advice. He said, do you, be yourself, and make sure you love being yourself. There's going to be roadblocks, there's going to be tribulations, but it's just all a life experience. And that make sure to find your journey, respect your journey, and love it. And that really stuck with me too, because I'm on my journey, you're on your journey. Everything's a life experience. I'm still finding my journey, respecting it. I'm still on my way. And that really stuck with me too. Something about this album, it really caught my eye how Kendrick felt enlightenment too. He read books. There was this author that inspired me to read. I read one of his books. It's called The Power of Now. It helped me realize being able to live in the moment, not think about the past or the future, just sit down, really enjoy what's going on right now. There's this one part in the book where he was really going through it and thought, I can't live with myself anymore. That's when it clicked. He couldn't live with himself anymore, so he pushed that old self, woke up feeling way better. This is the happiest he's ever been. He would go on walks, sit down on the bench, happiest he's ever felt. And other people would ask him, I want what you have. But he would say, you already have it. You just don't know. All these voices in your head to really understand, you already have what you're searching for. You just don't realize it.
Mm-hmm.
After reading that book, it helps me realize I already have what I'm searching for. I'm searching for true happiness. And it helped me perceive life differently. I would want to go on a bench and feel the happiest I've felt. And so it took a long time to really understand and practice what it preached to me.
Mm-hmm.
I reread this book, had a really big impact on me, where I even reread some of the chapters, reflect on it, build off of it, and apply it.
Mm-hmm.
And be able to really understand how I'm able to use it in my daily life.
Yeah. I always find this phrase because this is what, when you were speaking, it reminded me of a phrase of like, being is the new doing. And because a lot of times we're always worried about what we're doing. And all these external things are suppressing things that are within ourselves. If we allow the external things, the pressure of society, misconceptions, whatever, preconceived notions, we let go of those things and not allow the pressure of the outside to not suppress the things that are embedded within us. We become our true authentic selves. We're not worried about what we're doing, and we're present in the moment. And it's a strong reflection of our true authenticity.
Exactly. That's like a great way to really think about it. People are so busy worrying about, oh, what am I going to do for my next assignment? Like, you need to relax. People really got to understand. Again, this could be with the time thing. Why are you worried about the time that we don't even have yet? You just worried about the time what you got right now.
Right. Absolutely.
And like, we were put on this earth to live. Why not? There's a saying, hate and love have 4 letters, but why not choose the brighter side?
Right.
Love is everything. This mic was made with love. This album was made with love. These clothes were made with love.
Oh, absolutely.
Everything. It's not coincidental,
Mhm.
and people got to realize that.
Absolutely. Speaking of clothes, you're wearing something that I also am wearing, same brand and everything. And so talk about it. What does it mean to you?
Love, I threw my boy's brand on because I love him. He's like my brother now. We reconnected because of his clothing. That's what it's all about. Being able to reconnect, love on each other. I even mentioned I could sell some of your clothes back in my school. I want to help him branch out because that's love.
Absolutely. One of the things I love about the clothing he provided, which we're both wearing, even the jeans, is that it, we talk about confidence and everything. I think that when you dress well, you feel well. And with the quality also makes you feel like $100. And because of the quality of the clothes in which he has provided, makes me feel different, feel good, feel
Yeah.
great. And I love how comfortable, durable, and style.
Yeah.
It's just awesome. So I'm glad that you're wrapping it. Because it's
Yeah.
funny, we did not plan that he was going to wear this. He
No.
literally texted me, said, "You're going to be proud of what I'm going to be wearing." And I'm thinking, he's got to be wearing, newly worn. So I was like,
Yeah,
thinking, it's
man.
got to come.
And like it's all I love.
Yeah, it
It
is.
really
Yeah,
is.
yeah. And I love it. And, this is what I wear almost a lot. I wish I actually had multiple. Last summer, I broke my hand. And this is the first I've ever broke a bone.
I want to piggyback off of that, like you saying how it's been about a year for your bone or like for your wrist to really heal. It takes time. And like even for me, I'm still on my time to heal, I'm still on my way. And literally everything takes time. You broke a bone, it's gonna take some time. You tore an Achilles, your ACL, it's gonna take time. You are feeling a certain way, it's gonna take some time, you know.
Yeah, every transition in life takes time. It's a matter of how we utilize that time based on reflecting. How does it apply? How do I utilize the energy, whether it's negative or positive? How do I wield that energy for the good of me and how I then am able to move forward? If I utilize the energy not just for me, but also just to be revengeful,
Yeah,
you're not growing.
no, exactly. I also want to connect that to the album too, because when I'm big stepping, I'm revengeful, I'm egotistic, I'm full of myself. I'm making boisterous moves, lavish life, and being able to, like say I'm the best. I'm healed, I'm all good. No, I'm not. That's when that Mr. Morale part comes out, stripping that all away. Next week, big stepping, the weekend, I'm brought down back to base level. Think about like, you're not good. You're abusing the time, You're abusing this time when you should really be healing and taking the time to reflect upon how you're acting.
Tell me about music and why is that so important in your life?
The way I was brought up, I lived with my grandparents. It was very different than how I was living until 5th grade, until start of kind of life, I guess, to 5th grade. I lived with my grandparents, and music was kind of a big thing. We all listened to like Neo, Miss Independent. That's like a childhood song for me because they would play it a lot. I would be surrounded with music. They're always playing their music when they're cleaning, my older sisters. And so it kind of grew up with me, being able to expand my music taste too. Cause like I listen to dang near everything, to Japanese, Korean. I don't listen to country.
That's not everything then.
Mostly everything.
Okay.
And like I love expanding my music taste. It's fun, except country. And being like, having a poetic mind, I'm able to read the lyrics, listen to what they're saying, and it's fun for me because like it's cool,
Yeah.
to decode what they're saying, what they
Yeah.
really mean, especially if it's in a different language. And so I think it's really fun. And as I'm growing up, listening to these different artists, being older artists, I even went back, when he was a counselor for Salesian. He helped me bring out the old soul, and that's going back to my poems, saying how all my loved ones who passed, they lived through me. I have their music taste. What I listen to is what my mom listens to, my biological mom. It's cool because whenever I'm listening to that and my older sisters hear it, they're like, that's what your mom listens to.
Really? Help me understand the family dynamic here, because now I'm curious because you said that you lived with your grandparents for quite a while without your parents, and then you
Yes.
said your biological mom. So there's obviously a
Yeah.
story here that
And
I'm not
so,
aware of.
oh, really? I thought I told you. Basically, and I'm open to sharing this part of me because it really does make me who I am. My biological mom, she passed away when I was 2 months old. So I never really met my biological daddy. I guess he was in the hospital room. I never had contact with him. I was kind of bounced around as a kid. Like, who's gonna take me? Am I gonna go to the Philippines? I could have went in the Philippines, but I was chosen to stay here. It was my biological mom's brother, who my dad now, you know, my auntie mom now. She said like, no, we're gonna keep you, and so I would live with my grandparents majority, just because like I was a kid. They weren't as lenient. I liked the freedom. I was all over the place. Not my proudest, but I had fun. I'll admit it. It was fun being with my grandparents and living that life. I guess I had more freedom. And so, fifth grade, when my grandma was sick, she sat with me in the living room and she said, "You're gonna live with your parents now. I'm getting old. I won't be here for too
When
long."
she says your parents,
Yes, my current parents, they're like my first, they're like,
they're what you only knew.
they were my parents at that time. I had three other sisters. I was really surrounded by a lot of women. Masculinity now kind of shapes how I was brought up. Living with my parents now was hard because it was a sudden transition and it took a lot of getting used to. I'll be honest, it was different. It was very different lifestyle. But I grew accustomed to it. I started getting the hang of things. I was still getting in trouble just because of old lifestyle from my grandparents. But then I adapted. I really appreciated my parents now really helped me get that way. And like I guess it still happens a little bit. They were right. I was babied back then. I was the youngest, the favorite child, the grandchild.
Are they biological siblings or are they
I don't have any
biological siblings? So these sisters are your
cousins.
cousins,
But since I grew up with them,
became sisters.
I see them as like
Family, the
siblings.
immediate family.
Exactly. It took a while to really be accustomed to that lifestyle.
How was that perception with family or even just within yourself? Did you feel like an outsider?
At that time, yes, I'll be honest about that. I did feel a little different, mainly because I was old enough to understand where I didn't have any blood related people.
Mhm.
And it felt a little different, because I think I was treated differently, but it just felt different because I knew I was different. I knew I was weirder. I knew I spoke differently, I acted differently, I thought differently. And that's just like, I guess, that inner child who grew up with my grandparents.
How was that adjustment of recognizing that they are now my guardians, my parents?
It took a little time, but then as I grew older, I understood. I thought about it, like, yeah, these are my parents now. I was on a Cabo trip for my dad's birthday. We said a speech, and I told him. I was the first one to go because nobody wanted to go. I was like, all right, screw you guys. I'm going to be straightforward. This is my dad. No one could replace him. I love him for who he is. He's hard on me, but I needed to live life. Since yesterday was Father's Day, and I couldn't hang out with him because my dad and mom had to go to LA for my little brother's volleyball. Felt kind of sad. It's Father's Day, and I want to be able to hang out with him, appreciate it, not just send him a text saying, "Dad, I love you." I want to be able to connect with him because he's the only dad I really have. Again, I like to reflect a lot, like of what they've done for me. They didn't have to take me in, but they wanted a better life for me. And I really appreciate that. I don't voice it enough, but I really do. Because honestly, I wouldn't be here without them. I could have been in the Philippines, back what I was saying.
You could be anywhere
Exactly.
or even in the system.
Yeah. I don't show it enough how grateful I really am to them. I'll show them this video. Hey, I'm telling you guys, I am very appreciated to you. I'm here because of you guys. I can't stress how much I love them. Yeah, people people have that same reaction like, "Dang, Roman, I never knew that about you." I'm proud of my story. It really does make me who I am. And I'll have these moments where I feel super appreciative of all my family members. I'll even call them up crying, saying like, and I love you. During school, I did that.
So now this makes sense why you're so close to your grandparents.
Yes.
Because I get that people are close to the grandparents to an extent, but the amount that I have seen and observed, whether that's through social media or even this conversation, I'm sitting there going, but why are they so important? Now I know why.
Because they were basically my parental figures. I spent Mother's Day with grandma, Father's Day with grandpa, Grandparents' Day with both. Like, I have a big family, and I'm proud to have it.
One thing I love about Filipino culture is family. Filipino culture, family is huge. One thing I really like about Filipino culture, not just because of the food, I love the food, by the way, but it's family. I've been to different Filipino houses last 4 years, and how much I admire the family dynamic and how powerful that is as its own ecosystem, its own community.
Filipinos, like, we like to say, like, you could be my cousin. My two best friends since kindergarten, Dan and Evan. Shout out to y'all. I love you guys. I literally call them my cousins. Whenever we're out or just us two, people are like, say, "Oh, you guys like siblings? Is that your best friend?" Like, now we cousins.
Yeah.
We cousins. Like, because like we've known each other for so long. They've seen every side of me. My darkest days, my brightest highs. They've seen every moment.
You all knew I had no culture. And so you all were like, hey, we need to school this guy. I was glad that you all schooled me because I needed that. And it made me appreciate a little bit more sense of what family meant through the relationships, through the families that I spent holidays with. That's something that I love about my job. I love it when I get to do is because I'm exposed to different family cultures, experiences, and get a sense of family through other people.